This is our 2025 VW ID Buzz. If you've been on the internet, you may have seen that Volkswagen killed off the Buzz. I have some news for you. That's not true. Follow along in this video to see what the real reality is.
I've seen article after article talking about how the VW ID Buzz has been discontinued from the 2025 to the 2026 model year. That's somewhat true, but I'm going to dive in this video about how that's not the full reality of what's happening. VW actually never stopped making the Buzzes. They actually never even stopped shipping them to the United States, and there's a 2027 model year coming. So while there might not be 2026s in the label of the vehicle, that's still not the reality.
To dive into this, I want to first start by introducing you to our green 2025 VW ID Buzz First Edition. This vehicle was designed for the future and inspired by the past. It has space for everything, style unlike anything else. It has more maximum cargo space than a Chevy Suburban with over 145 cubic feet of cargo space. It has 3 rows standard, sliding doors, making kid loading dramatically easier than an SUV. Some things I want to touch on are how the style of this turns heads everywhere. Everyone that we drive by wants to smile and wave. People want to take pictures and videos of it. And it's a surprisingly practical family vehicle with so much interior space. It's such a comfortable ride. I'll touch on some of the nice features. It's got excellent visibility. It's a quiet driving experience, a very quiet and nice cabin. The sliding doors are absolutely amazing for loading and unloading kids and cargo. It's a great road tripping vehicle, which we're hopefully about to take a long road trip here in a couple months from Ohio to Colorado and back. It's got a ton of cargo space. It's got a good charging experience with the 10 to 80% charging in about 22 minutes, I believe. And the overall cost of ownership will surprise you when we dive into that. After owning this for over a year and a half, I want to talk about both the good and the bad, first diving into what we love. First, like I mentioned, the unique styling. It turns more heads than almost any vehicle on the road, and so many people take photos, and it's just such a joy to be in and see people's joys on their face. It's fun to drive. It's pretty nimble for how big of a vehicle it is, and the interior is so spacious. All 3 rows have ample leg room, ample headroom, ample room to move around, and it's really awesome. The seats are also extremely comfortable, and they're both heated and cooled, which is really, really nice to have. This vehicle also has great visibility with glass all around, and it's a conversation starter everywhere we go. It's also an excellent family vehicle. You can get 4 car seats in this, haul up to 6 adults comfortably. Just incredibly useful. What needs to improve? The price, as a lot of people have hit on, that was the first hang up. We were able to get a pretty good deal on this. We got the best trade-in value we could possibly get on our Tesla Model Y to trade in for this, and we were also able to get quite a bit off of MSRP. I think we walked away with this for $66,000, which wasn't cheap, but a lot better than the $76,000 sticker price or whatever was on it. The other thing that definitely needs to be touched on is the range, and I completely understand that. There are times where it can be slightly annoying. It's not quite as bad as people make it out to be. For instance, right now I'm planning a trip from Ohio to Colorado, and I have compared the charging stops from my Ford Lightning to this. The Lightning on paper has 100 more miles of range, or maybe more like 90. But when you plug that into a better route planner, this has 1 to 2 more stops over that entire drive than the F-150 Lightning. If you compare it to a Tesla, it actually might have less stops overall because the Tesla likes to charge from, say, 5 or 10% up to 60 and then keep going. So you're going to charge more often, maybe slightly less time at each stop in a Tesla than even this, even given that it has such a low range. Another thing I want to touch on is software quirks. If the Volkswagen does something once, we joke and say it's not necessarily going to do it again, and it's not going to necessarily be consistent. They definitely could use some refinement, although overall our experience has been pretty good. And Apple CarPlay we really enjoy because we can go from vehicle to vehicle and it works virtually the same. One negative that a lot of people said about this on the initial review was the touch controls. Honestly, you get really used to them. So I'm not going to leave that as a negative because I've grown to kind of like them, except for the windows. There is only 2 buttons for left and right to roll down windows, but you also have the back window. So you have to use a haptic touch button to select either the front or the back or both to roll them down. And I'm not a huge fan of it. Just put two other buttons there and make it normal. Um, Obviously, this doesn't have a front. The only thing the front hatch really is accessible for you to do is to fill your windshield wiper fluid. So that's a negative compared to other electric vehicles. The last thing I want to hit on is how it took way too long to get NACS or Tesla supercharging access. They said we were supposed to get it June after we got the vehicle in March, and we ended up waiting until I believe November or December before we finally got access, and it was way overdue. But now that we have it, it's all good, and all new vehicles will get that as well. All right, that's a short and concise, good and bad about what we love and don't love about our VW ID Buzz. Not a complete review, but gives you a little overview. So now it's time to do the 1 year comparison. And what do I mean by that? Well, the green Buzz on the left is a 2025, and the orange Buzz on the right is a 2025. Oh, wait, I just said the same year. Yes. Despite these being built almost exactly 1 year apart, they are both 2025s. In the automotive world, typically starting around July and later of the year prior, it would the model year of the vehicle would be the following year. For example, if something is made in July of 2026, they typically would call that a model year 2027. Why wouldn't a company do that, even though that's kind of the norm today? Honestly, I have no idea. I don't know why VW did not just roll the 2025s into the 2026s. I've heard no good explanation. As I said previously, these vehicles were continuously made from 2025 to 2026 and continuing in to 2027 with little to no slow up. They made both the European and the United States versions. And alongside of that, they not only continue to make them, they continue to ship them. And how I know that is my neighbor just bought last month this 2025 VW ID Buzz Pro S Plus, and he had to wait on it to come via ship over the ocean, then be shipped to his dealer just last month. So, what changed between these two buzzes being made almost an entire year apart? Well, first of all, one is a first edition and the other is a Pro S Plus. So, I have a complete list of things that are different between one another here that I'll show you, and it's almost nothing. You've got a hitch on the Pro S Plus where I didn't get one on the first edition. You've got different colored wheel covers, as you can see. But other than that, the list of differences between the two is almost absolutely nothing. One of the biggest critiques on the VW ID Buzz is clearly the price. So I've taken some time to compare to some other vehicles to see how it compares. You've got the VW ID Buzz here, Kia EV9, which is actually a little bit smaller of a vehicle, but definitely has more range. A Toyota Sienna Platinum to compare with the luxury of the Buzz, which is a hybrid, and then the Chevy Suburban High Country, which is an SUV, obviously just fully gas. I know these aren't perfect comparisons, but there is no perfect comparison for the VW ID Buzz because there's really nothing in the United States that completely compares. You've got hybrids like the Toyota Sienna, Chrysler Pacifica, Kia Carnival. You got the Mercedes EQV, which is a van, but it's not sold in North America. And then you've got the Ford E-Transit, which is a commercial van and still just doesn't compare at all. So if you look at this, and then you start looking at the cost of ownership over 5 years, it's pretty shocking, but even with the price of the VW ID Buzz, it comes out ahead. Now, I know these numbers aren't perfect. Don't critique them too much. I obviously used AI to throw this together quickly, but I just wanted to get kind of a sanity check on what the reality of the price of the VW ID Buzz is. So you might ask, why did I throw the Chevy Suburban in there? That's really not the same kind of vehicle. It's kind of a weird comparison. And yeah, I agree. The Chevy Suburban is a much heavier duty vehicle, typically with a big V8 engine, can tow much, much more than the VW ID Buzz. But as a people hauler and a hauler of things, they are shockingly close to each other. And one of the things VW has marketed is that it has more cargo space than a Chevy Suburban, which seems absolutely shocking, but goes to a testament of the design of the VW ID Buzz. So as you can see here, it's got a whole one more cubic feet, but even to be in the same ballpark is really awesome and something I just wanted to highlight and point out. So as I mentioned, there is a 2027 VW ID Buzz coming, even though they technically skipped the 2026 model year, even though they really didn't. So what do we know about the 2027? Well, we're going to get a little bit of an updated infotainment. We're going to get some quote unquote software improvements, some new trim options, including a camper focused tourer model, which is semi shown here in the image. All VWID buses will now come with Tesla supercharging, NACS access, as they always should, but it's still going to be CCS with an adapter. That's all we really know. It sounds like the leak price is just as high, if not slightly higher, and the range is going to be exactly the same. From what we know, it's going to have the same battery, all the same capabilities. So no big refreshes coming for 2027. I know a lot of people, like I said, continue to harp on the range, but that's just not in the works for this year, so we can continue to hope for future years. I have no affiliation with this company, but I think since we're talking about a camping focused VW ID Buzz, I wanted to mention Peace Fans just because what they're doing is so darn cool, and I wish I could afford to buy what they're doing. They offer both the pop top attachment to the top of your VW ID Buzz, as well as a full build out on the inside for probably what is a pretty reasonable price given all that they offer. Like I said, I have no affiliation with them, but I hope to one day work with them and be able to get this camper conversion for our Buzz because I just think it is so darn cool.
While there are many critiques on the range and the price of the VW ID Buzz, which are all fair, I'm here to say we know this car isn't perfect, but it is pretty awesome, and as you can see, there's little to no competition in its segment. This is a 6 to 7 seat vehicle with more cargo space than a Chevy Suburban, which is all electric and more efficient than any gas vehicle you can buy, including a Toyota Prius. So, while there are some critiques, it is still an absolutely amazing car and an absolute head turner that we love and we would buy again. We've had this for well over a year, going on a year and a half, and it's still probably the coolest car we've ever owned and one of the coolest cars on the road today. I'm really excited to see what 2027 and beyond has to bring. I don't believe in 2027 they're going to bring more range, but they're going to bring some more cool features, and maybe in the future we can see a bigger battery if Volkswagen invests into that. As you know, Volkswagen as a company isn't doing that great, so what we have in the VW ID Buzz today might be the best we have for quite some time, but only time will tell. So, if you have a VW ID Buzz and have enjoyed your experience as much as us, or if you have other critiques that maybe I didn't hit on, leave a comment, like and subscribe if you would. Have a great one.